Being in a family with three very strong women, that's been very important to me, and certainly in informing my perspective of the world. Our parents were both second generation Japanese American. Both my parents were able to get out of the American concentration camps. They were able to move back to the Bay Area, where our mother graduated from UC Berkeley. And so I think it kind of translated over to Holly and the way she takes her attitude towards her work. She was certainly a leader among her peers. She skipped 3 grades, so she was just very determined to achieve all these goals that were hard for our mother to be able to achieve. I have more respect for her than anybody on this earth. Congratulations. I love you very much.
When I was a young lawyer, my first impression of her was that she was a spunky, determined, and charismatic lawyer. And it was so heartwarming to see a face of an Asian American woman to be leading the California State Bar. I wanted to be her. She was inspirational. Judge Fujie's career had been impressive from the start, from the passage of the bar at the young age of 22. And so she was an overachiever. She was in the law firm field initially and became one of the first Asian Pacific American women to be hired by a major law firm in Los Angeles County. She has made a significant impact for women in the profession.
When we first met, I was relatively young and junior, and she's got such a nice personality that she always wants to make everybody feel welcome. She kind of sought me out. I knew at the time that she was one of the first women to work in a major law firm in California. She was the first Asian Pacific American woman president of the California State Bar. But at the same time, I've met her children, and they're amazing. She's just able to juggle so many things and still give of herself freely to so many mentees. She's always trying to recruit actively people that she believes would be great judicial officers. I know she has been involved in more than 60 candidates who have since been appointed to the bench. You know, when we talk about a judicial pipeline, it doesn't start with young associates or, people who are partners. It starts way before that. So Judge Fujie has reached way far back, not just to law school, but even high school. When you get to know her, you realize it's very apparent that she cares about bringing people behind her. She's the first, but she doesn't want to be the last.
The thing that rises most to me when I think of Judge Fujie is she is like a heat-seeking missile in terms of finding ways to uplift and encourage others. Judge Fujie has been an extraordinary force in creating opportunities for dozens, if not more, to become members of the California judiciary. And she has been integral in broadening and diversifying the bench in California. She's committed to introducing opportunities of the legal field and the important civic responsibilities of participating in our democracy to young people. She is always, as long as I've known her, deeply committed to lift up those behind her. So she is a rising force for civic responsibility and for community. And that, I think, makes her a particularly deserving candidate for the Margaret Brent Award here in 2025.
I'm not that short. Okay. All right. First and foremost, I want to give a huge thank you to the ABA and the Commission on Women in the Profession, not just for giving me this wonderful award, but for standing firm on their principles and pushing back on those who say that supporting and celebrating women and people of color is somehow unpatriotic. And I am so grateful to my friends and colleagues who worked so hard on my nomination, especially Judges Wendy Chang and Elaine Liu and past NAPABA President Cindy Chang. And many thanks to our Canadian hosts for your wonderful hospitality. Merci beaucoup, nos hôtes canadiennes, pour votre merveilleuse hospitalité. And I am so grateful to be receiving the Margaret Brent Award alongside these 4 amazing trailblazers who have opened so many doors to women in the law. So congratulations to Bridget Marsh, Justice Earls. I can never follow this. That was just amazing. Jamie McKeon and my fellow Nikkei, Marika Omatsu, the first woman of East Asian descent to be appointed as a judge in Canada. Hooray. I'm so proud to be here with you. "50 years ago this month, the trajectory of my career was irrevocably set on my first day of law school at the University of California, Berkeley, by a future Margaret Brent Award winner. She was my civil procedure professor, the amazing Herma Hill Kay, who later became the first female dean in the law school's history and who won the Brent in 1992. Professor Kay told the women of our class, which included, by the way, future 2010 Brent Award winner Elizabeth Cabraser, how we would have to be strong and dedicated to succeed in what was then an extremely male-dominated profession, but how important our contribution would be to the world, not if, but when we did succeed. Professor Kay showed me how valuable even a few words of encouragement could be to a woman at the start of her career. Even now, when there are many more women in the law than there were in 1975, I still hear frequently from young women lawyers, especially women of color, what courage it takes to walk into a room, whether it's a conference room or a courtroom, and be the only woman or the only person of color in that room, and how often that still occurs. I see that in my own courtroom, where very few women trial lawyers appear. These young women tell me that this situation makes them feel alone and unsupported, and this puts the profession at risk of losing amazing talent. In these times when institutions are scrubbing their websites of references to DEI and disavowing policies that are welcoming to women and minorities, these young women need our help more than ever. As someone who started law school at a time when there was not a single Asian American woman on the bench in the United States, until Catherine Doi Todd, a 2014 Margaret Brent Award winner, was appointed in 1978 to the court on which I now sit. So I know how important role models, encouragement, and support can be in turning a struggle to survive into success in the law. And the women who need this support are so receptive and so talented and bring so much to the profession that for me, mentoring and helping them to succeed has been the most satisfying and fulfilling part of my career. Now, as a trial judge, I of course brought physical evidence with me. One of my own very best mentees, Sean Dabby Jacobs. Sean, stand up. Who is now herself a successful mentor to many others. So I want to thank my fellow awardees, all past and future Margaret Brent Award winners, and all of you as leaders in the profession for your continuing efforts to seek out, encourage, and advance women in the law. It's an investment in real intelligence that will pay off far more than any investment in artificial intelligence ever will. Okay. Finally, I reserve my greatest thanks for my legal writing and research instructor at Berkeley Law, Bonnie Sun, who had the wisdom and the foresight to assign to me as my moot court advisor a young law student from Minnesota, Lee Catuño. Now my husband of 47 years, and the father of our two wonderful children, Sage and Thomas. The three of them are the light of my life. Thank you.